The House Government Operations Committee for Monday, January 29th, 2024 will come to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representatives Boso, Carr, Chisholm, Clemens, Crawford, Eldridge, Faison, Hakeem, Hilton Haynes, Hemmer, Johnson of Knox, Jones, Kiesling, Kumar, Lafferty, Littleton, Martin of Hamilton, McCalman, Rudder, Vice Chairman Reedy, Chairman Reagan.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, members. Do we have any public orders? You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, just wanted to recognize a good friend of mine, Mr. Lee Reeves. He's sitting out the audience. He wanted to come to see how our state government works.
Welcome. Other personal orders, announcements? Seeing none, we will immediately go to our calendars. We have a consent calendar. Members, you have received a consent calendar with 30 items on it. We have received no objections despite 2 emails advising you if you have objections to let us know. Are there any objections today? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to pass the consent calendar. We have a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, all in favor of passing the consent calendar indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Consent calendar passes. We will now move to our regular calendar. Item number 1 is House Bill 1861 being carried by Representative Stevens. Oh, hang on just a second here. Members, forgive me. I've neglected to mention that the consent calendar goes to calendar and rules. There, we're taking care of that. Representative Stevens, you're recognized on House Bill 1681. We have a motion and a second. We have one. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an administration bill brought by the Department of Human Services. The legislation eliminates the State Advisory Board for the Community-Based Vocational Rehabilitation Services. The board is duplicative of work being done by the gubernatorially appointed State Rehabilitation Council, which is required to submit a yearly report to the governor and secretary on their status of their work. And this will also reduce state spending by $600.
Members, you've heard an explanation of the bill. Do we have questions of the sponsor? Representative Johnson, I saw you first. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I've been out of the classroom a few years, but what we did with our students, we referred them to Voc Rehab. Typically in their senior year, they went out half year to do work study, so they prepare for work, be prepared for work after their senior year. And so does this any way prohibit those signups and getting those kids signed up for Voc Rehab so that they prepare for exiting their senior year?
You're recognized, Mr. Sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My understanding is this will not affect any services or any programs. This just eliminates this board and transfers its responsibilities to the one that's appointed by the governor.
Follow up, Representative Johnson.
I guess my question would be, how familiar are they with this process and how our public schools use this process? That board you're talking about.
You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We might have to defer to the DHS liaison to answer that question because I'm not familiar with that.
All right. We have a motion to go out of session. Without objections, we're out of session. We'll call the representatives of the administration forward. Please give us your name and position. And Representative Johnson, you'll be recognized to answer the question after they've introduced themselves.
Good afternoon. My name is Callan Schmidt. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for External Affairs for the Department of Human Services.
Mary Dobbs, oh, sorry,
Go ahead.
Legislative Liaison for Department of Human Services.
By the way, before you begin, we do have witness cards on these individuals, so they're already filled out and we're ready to roll. So Representative Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you. So do you understand my question? Because that's just my
Yes.
big concern. This is not going to hurt that process at all. is
Yes,
it?
ma'am, that is correct. It will not hurt that process. This is just an advisory board for the local campuses of our TRCs, which are doing amazing work. But it is duplicative of what they provide recommendations to the SRC,
Mhm.
and which then provides recommendations to the governor. So this is just eliminating some of that duplicative work. It is not affecting the level of services that are provided, nor is it affecting any of the services provided. I'm gonna stop rambling.
Follow up, Representative Johnson.
Thank you so much.
Representative Clemens, you're on my list. You have a question of our witnesses or our sponsor?
I'll go with the witnesses.
You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The duplicative board, is it not also appointed by the governor? Who appoints that board?
You're
It-
recognized.
It is appointed by the commissioner.
So we're
Follow up, sir.
taking, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we're taking the commissioner's oversight away and consolidating it underneath the gubernatorial appointees.
You're recognized.
Yes, sir.
Follow up, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We have other questions of our witnesses. Seeing none, thank you for being here. You're excused. We're back in session. Do we have questions of our sponsor on the bill? We have a question on the bill. Any objection? Seeing none, we're going to be voting on House Bill 1681 going to Finance, Ways and Means. All in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Okay, moves out. Ayes have it. If you wish to be recorded as a no, please indicate to the clerk. Any other comments on that one? What we got here? Okay. The bill's passed on. I show no further bills on our calendar. Do we have other business to come before the committee? We have a motion to adjourn. It's non-debatable. Any objections? Seeing it? None. We are adjourned.